City University of Hong Kong is an international university which emphasizes the integration of research and teaching. The university promotes diversified, cross-cultural studies through various educational programs. To promote our educational vision, City University of Hong Kong produced a series called Beyond Boundaries, Dialogue with Presidents of World's Leading Educational Institutions. Professor Wei Guo, President of City University of Hong Kong, talks to presidents of universities and principals of high schools around the world, exploring each other's strengths and looking forward to the future direction of educational development. The University of British Columbia in Vancouver is one of the top 3 universities in Canada and a world-renowned university. Founded in 1908, the university is the oldest one in British Columbia. It has developed into one of the world's top public research universities. Over the past 100 years, UBC has produced 8 Nobel Prize laureates and 273 Fellows of the Royal Society of Canada. Moreover, 3 Canadian Prime Ministers have been educated at UBC. UBC is also home to Triumph, Canada's national laboratory for particle and nuclear physics, which houses the largest cyclotron in the world. In addition to the Peter Wall Institute for Advanced Studies and the Stuart Blusson Quantum Matter Institute, UBC and the Max Planck Society have jointly established the first Max Planck Institute in North America, which specializes in quantum materials. UBC was ranked 47th in the 2023 QS World University Rankings. While emphasizing basic research, the university is also committed to applied research and knowledge transfer. It has facilitated the establishment of 245 spin-off companies. Some of them have become industry leaders. Today, we are honored to invite Professor Santa J. Ono, President and Vice Chancellor of the University of British Columbia, to share his experience and vision of leading this prestigious university. Professor Wei Guo, President of City University of Hong Kong, is well known for his research on the reliability of electronic systems and nuclear energy. In his early years, he worked at Bell Laboratories in the United States, who held the position of department head and dean of the School of Engineering in an American university, and was conferred academicians in various countries. Professor Wei Guo has served as the president of CityU for more than 10 years. His philosophy of education is summarized in the lyrics of the CityU anthem, which he wrote, "Learn and question beyond boundaries." Professor Wei Guo has also published several books about education. He is particularly concerned about the challenges facing contemporary education around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are very pleased to interview Professor Santa Ono, President of the University of British Columbia. President Ono was installed as the president of UBC 6 years ago. Previous to his current position, he has been the president of University of Cincinnati. President Ono is a very experienced academic leader. The University of British Columbia is one of the leading universities in the whole world. In addition, university ranked top 50s by all major international ranking agencies, including QS, Times, Shanghai Jiao Tong University, and the US News and World Report. There are very few universities that have been ranked so high in the whole world. As the president of such a heavy-duty universities, how you look at this, all those accomplishments, and could you briefly enlighten its legacies and the achievement you have with the university?
Well, I'm incredibly proud of this institution and where it stands, and I think that what has been achieved here in a very short period of time is really remarkable. If you look at the other institutions in that very elite group, many of them are several hundred years old. And so we are, as a university, only a little bit over 100 years old. So it's a great source of pride for everyone at this institution. Certainly, the members of the university community wholeheartedly believe that our raison d'etre is not to rank high in global rankings, although we're honored by that. The real reason that we exist as a university is to educate the next generation of citizens. And we take very seriously the responsibility of educating them, not just in terms of book knowledge or what they learn in the classroom, but also what they become as human beings and citizens, wherever they might end up after their education. So integrity is incredibly important because our graduates do rise to prominence in every sector, and they will have to make decisions that impact what happens with those organizations, but also impacts the world writ large. And so, they can make decisions that benefit themselves, or they can make decisions that have a broader consequence. And individuals throughout the history of mankind, some of them have used their knowledge and their power or their position for their own benefit. And that's not what we want here at UBC. We want to graduate individuals that will go out into the world in every sector and make decisions based upon a position of morals and integrity. And whether they become head of a hospital or head of a nation, head of a Fortune 500 company, leader of a university, with those positions comes, in my view, a great responsibility to make the right decisions that will further those organizations and to utilize those institutions' strengths for the benefit for others, and especially for those who are less privileged. And it's for that reason that integrity, it was really a unanimous view.
The University of British Columbia values the development of students' morals and integrity. The university also emphasizes academic freedom and university autonomy. Through academic research and professional knowledge, the university enables society to formulate public policy, stimulating social development and improvement.
In your strategic plan, there are also something that attracts me a little bit. You also mentioned campus autonomy and academic freedom. Generally speaking, we believe that in the university in Northern America, including Canada and USA, the campus has more autonomy, and also there are more academic freedom. But you emphasize this in particular at this moment. I'm wondering, there are some special emphasis you'd like to share with us.
Well, campus autonomy has been very important even during this pandemic. As you know, we are a public university. We're a provincial university. We're also a national university. And as you know from this pandemic, there are different views during the past couple of years about what sorts of public health measures should be adopted and followed. And not everyone has consensus regarding what should be the rules in terms of policies around mandatory masks, mandatory vaccinations, mandatory testing on a regular basis. And because people are on in different places in terms of their perspectives on those policies, we think as an academic institution that our autonomy is fundamentally important so that we can contribute to thought, to diverse thought in our jurisdiction here, but also nationally and internationally. And for that reason, we haven't always gone along with recommendations from different levels of government. We have a community of scholars. We're fortunate that we have an outstanding professoriate in many health disciplines, and we have lots of experts, and those experts help inform public policy. And I think it's essential for any post-secondary sector to have a variety of views. It's healthy because it stimulates honest debate about what the right policies ought to be. And so autonomy of institutions guards that institutional contribution to what is right and what is just and what is best for society.
Well, this brings me to the attention of the values that you put in the strategic plan, namely integrity and respect. So all these seem to all tie together, and when we promote this academic issues, and I think this is really enlightening. People need to listen to what you have said about such issue. You are also biologist, molecular biologist in a way, and there's also another issue that's tied to the ethics issues, such as bioethics. And in the middle of the pandemic today, will you share some lights about the bioethics so that everybody can take a listen to it?
You know, I remember in the early days when recombinant DNA, the ability to take genes and to recombine them in a test tube and to dream about perhaps creating better crops or better livestock, when that was just a dream, that some people were worried. And some of this was happening at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts in the United States. Some of it was happening on the West Coast at Stanford. Some of it was happening here at UBC. There was a Nobel laureate called Michael Smith, who was the very first to be able to take a gene, DNA, and to mutate it in a specific way at will. And this was the birth of a new field called recombinant DNA technology or biomedical engineering. We can actually take disease genes, we can change them and correct them, and we could eventually generate from people who have a familial inheritance of a certain kind of inherited disease. We will be able to perhaps correct that and eliminate that disease from all subsequent kids and grandkids and great-grandkids that originate from a family that harbored these disease genes. It's really truly remarkable what's happened in a pretty short period of time. But with that promise comes tremendous technological power that can be misused. Just like the first nuclear chain reaction at the University of Chicago by Enrico Fermi in the Manhattan Project can now be used to completely eliminate this planet. That knowledge, used for the wrong reason, can be very dangerous. The same thing can be said for my field, molecular biology. You can imagine that a very wealthy person would want to identify the genetic differences in their kids that would make them slower than their peers, perhaps not as good at mathematics or in French literature, and to then perhaps change those genes at will And so ethics has to be brought into the picture together with knowledge and technology to ensure that these powerful technologies aren't used for the wrong ends. And it's for that reason, once again, that a pillar to the UBC strategic plan is integrity.
Excellent. It is indeed a two-edged sword. You can benefit, but you also have to watch what not to do. And well, let me think about a few other issues, such as, in addition to being a renowned, experienced academic leader, you also has generated a lot of patents and numerous good ones. And I also noticed that the UBC has had many startup companies in the last few years. So again, all these are tied together. How you see this can benefit the society?
And if you just think about recent years, some of our spin-off companies here at UBC have been extraordinary and have touched the lives of people around the world. One of the largest biotechnology companies in the world, the largest in Canada, is called Stem Cell. It's a spin-off company of UBC. And it's a husband-wife team, the Eves. And Connie Eve, one of our faculty members, just won the Canada Gairdner Award, considered to be a predictor for someone who may possibly get a Nobel Prize in physiology and medicine in the future. So these are just a few of the examples of the kind of intellectual property and patents that come out of UBC that are benefiting people around the world. So I'll say we're very proud of the intellectual property that has come out of University of British Columbia. But you're absolutely right, the second part of your question, that there are ethical considerations. I had mentioned our intellectual property underpinning everything from the treatment of macular degeneration to new generation COVID vaccines. And the ethical consideration that we are thinking about now, and we have scholars at the university that think about this, is the impediment those patents place on the free exchange of information and technology that is needed for these treatments to make their way around the globe. And this is something that was not just an issue that we're wrestling with, but it's something that every major research university around the world is thinking about. So the patents have been originally put into place so that the investments in R&D that take place either in a company or in a university that cost a lot of money, that resources flow back once it's successful to continue to support that and to make it a viable business proposition. But if you also think about an emergency like a pandemic, if you need to share intellectual property rapidly, that these could be barriers to the free exchange of the information required for the health and welfare of people around the world. And so for that reason, we assigned a global pledge to, as an institution, agree to share this necessary information so that people in less privileged parts of the world could benefit from this information as well. Not only did universities like UBC sign this pledge, but also a number of companies did as well.
Well, sometimes I'm thinking that today the world is really small. When I look at what happened 2,500 years ago, even a small community, they are so-called internationalization. Today we're also talking about internationalization. Sometimes I was thinking 2,500 years from today, maybe there's only one country on earth, so we are all together. Ladies and gentlemen, through this conversation, I'm sure you have enjoyed the message and wisdom delivered by President Ono. In his strategic plan, he mentioned respect, integrity, which are important part in the community that we are facing today. And also, in his strategic plan, he particularly put emphasis on the importance and restrictions of campus autonomy. The university under his leadership is not only ranked so well by every ranking agencies, it is also accomplished a lot of intangible performance, contribution to the society. Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. Thank you, President Ono.
Thank you very much.
In the episode of next week, Professor Wei Kuo, president of City University of Hong Kong, will visit a girls' school in Taipei which has been established for a century. It is renowned as a model of high school education in Taiwan. The school places a high value on students' development in the 5 ways of life, including moral, intellectual, physical, social, and aesthetic, to develop independent, confident, and knowledgeable women for the Taiwan society. Taipei First Girls High School.